Look at this. This is not a pretty sight. If you're much younger than me, then to you, this would seem like a gorgeous sight because in your mind, all you can imagine are snow angels, snowmen, snowball fights, and stuff of the like. For folks like me and folks much older than me, all we can imagine is misery on the roads, with traffic jams and detours up the wazoo, as well as misery on the sidewalks with frozen ice, equally numerous slip and fall accidents, and visits to Mr. Alan Bonder here or the lawyer of your choosing. All the way around, it is cold in more ways than one. Yet I know of one event that happens every single winter, which warms any heart, man, woman, anybody. And you know what I'm talking about. The Super Bowl! If you're a fan of sports, no other event helps perk up the winter doldrums and warms the hearts of any football fan around the world. And yet at the same time also aches the hearts of many a football fan to an equal degree, because it is the final and most important game in the entire NFL season. While I'm not that knowledgeable about the game itself, I am certainly quite knowledgeable about helping you celebrate the big game in style without hiking up the price. To that end, I've assembled quite a stellar starting lineup that will not only pass muster, but it will help you pass with winning colors. So if you're up for it, suit up and meet me on the field, and by field I mean table. This just wouldn't fit in my inflatable snack stadium. For a Super Bowl special unlike any other on this channel, because this isn't your ordinary Super Bowl video. Welcome to the Thrift Store Rundown's Super Duper Budget Bowl, helping you score a touchdown celebrating America's most time-honored tradition in pop culture and in sports on a budget. Hut! Hut! Hike!
Hello and welcome from World Headquarters. It's The Big Show, and alongside my tag team partner, Dan Patrick, I'm Keith Olbermann.
Coming up on SportsCenter, the rest of the National League is waiting for the Phils to fall from grace. The big unit makes its return for you Melrose Place fans. Andrew Shue highlights. The mailman delivers our Sunday conversation, but we begin with rain on the reigning champs parade.
Yeah, the fashion police among us should have known this in advance.
Joining me to help kick off the first quarter in hardcover form are two famed sports analysts who really define the word big when it comes to ESPN's Big Show. The daily one-stop shop for any and all sporting news, ESPN's Sports Center. Hey, it is the name of Keith Olbermann and Dan Patrick's book, after all. The Big Show, inside ESPN's Sports Center, with a truly sardonic, slightly sarcastic, and yet profoundly hilarious foreword by the one and only Bob Costas. He is quite a funny man, to believe it or not. This is a pocketbook publication, which I purchased for 25% off the price of $4.99. Retail prices, $23 in the US and $31 in Canada. From World Sports Headquarters in historic Bristol, Connecticut, comes the book that's more colorful than Dennis Rodman's hair. For the first time, Keith Olbermann and Dan Patrick, the tag team partners of ESPN's award-winning Sports Center, bring what People magazine calls their Letterman-like loopiness and couple-as smarts to ESPN's hippest hour. Less expensive and easier to read than the Big Leaguer's autograph, The Big Show gives you the honest, horrifying, yet always entertaining story of two men, three cameras, and highlights run amok. It tells truths about the sports world the government doesn't want you to hear. Which government? Nobody's sure. But there must be a government somewhere that doesn't want you to know about. That voodoo that Keith and Dan do to make the big show run slicker than Pat Riley's do. The origins of Dan and Keith's patented phrases, which I will show you in a sort of glossary of terms, including exactly whose drool Keith is referring to when he talks about drooling the drool of regret into the pillow of remorse. Keith's controversial list of should-be baseball Hall of Famers, 100 of them for Pete Rose's sake, just to fill in that gap. Dan and Keith's on-air flubs, errors that make even Bill Buckner's blunders seem minor. The real reason Dan held Bull Mary's hand at the ESPYs, the ESPYs, that is their annual awards show, and Keith and Dan's complaints about sports idiocies and each other. Plus, the existence of a special photo layout of Keith and Dan's Brando-esque performances in the Sports Center commercials. They looked heavy too. Dan and Keith's pantheon of all-time greatest athletes. Okay, who picked Coach Reeves from the right shadow? Keith and Dan's top 10 lists, including the weirdest things said by athletes. And what superstars, celebrities, and the press really think about Dan and Keith, and how they've survived to this day. Reading a big show, you'll have joy, you'll have fun, you'll have seasons in the sun, and yet you'll dismiss all notions of becoming a sportscaster yourself. But try as you may, your remote won't turn the pages or close the cover. So Dan and Keith's flagrantly illegal use of the mouth will keep you reading overtime. Let's take a look at the chapters in here that will keep you reading overtime, shall we? Hi, hello, and how are you? Introduction, and an introduction to the madcap world of sports journalism, as told through the lens and eyes of Keith and Dan. A sort of glossary of terms, that is, a full summary of all catchphrases. An official timeline history of the big show, from conception to execution. How we do the voodoo that we do. Bill Buckner, could you describe what happened? Plus, Dan and Keith's top 10 weirdest things said by athletes. Good grief, we're famous! Sort of, part-time. How to be a sportscaster when you grow up, and a top 10 list of free pieces of advice to other sportscasters. Pete rolls in the Hall of Fame. Keith's complaint, if you build it for me, I won't leave. Dan's complaint, we blame athletes for the wrong things. There are 21 top 10 athletes. Keith's complaint part 2, to make the world safe for Albert Bell to hate my guts. Their plays of the week, plus their top 10 pleas to athletes who are being interviewed. Their greatest games that they watched, not played. Put your baseball cards and your bicycle spokes now, but enough about us. What do you think about us? And by you, they're referring to the prominent viewers, not the everyday average Joe and Jane viewers, which kinda sucks. And finally, a very bittersweet chapter to close this up, Tom. That is a tribute to the late great Tom Lees, one of the original Sports Center producers who passed before this book was published. First up, the sort of glossary of terms. That is a full glossary, again, of their patented catchphrases which they use throughout, such as, and a mighty roar went up from the crowd, which is very sarcastic because it's kind of a weak roar at best. Check, please, the big show. Hello. Also, drooling the drool of regret into the pillow of remorse. That's Keith's catchphrase. Big Show? Well, that is a joint catchphrase. Brought to you by? That's a joint catchphrase, which is hockey-based. And Fuego! That's Dan's catchphrase, and probably the most used. Full extension from Keith, freeze it from Dan for a cold third strike. Among other hilarious catchphrases, which really keep the fun of watching SportsCenter rockin' and rollin'. Really, the entire book is an irreverent, fast-paced, and often breezy read. That is, if you want to wear a helmet while feeling the breeze. Into the madcap world of covering sports on a daily and nightly basis. And having an insane and illegal amount of fun while doing it. Also, this is as behind the scenes as you're going to get into SportsCenter without being too technical here. Photographs aplenty are sprinkled throughout this book, None of them in color, and there's really no full color photo inset in here, which is kind of upsetting also. Also sprinkled throughout the book, plenty of irreverently told top 10 lists. Now for the other one of my favorite chapters. But enough about us. What do you think about us? And again, by you, they mean prominent viewers in positions of power. From athletes covering the gamut, baseball, football, soccer, men's and women's basketball, to actors such as Richard Lewis, film critics like the late Gene Siskel, who, yes indeed, often plays the smartass alongside the king smartass of film criticism, the royal Roger Ebert from Siskel and Ebert. Both have since passed on, but their smartass criticism legacy, smartass for the better of society, live on. We even have musicians spilling the beans about Dan and Keith, such as Darius Rucker. And this is the bittersweet chapter which concludes the book. The acknowledgements are informally listed in the introduction to the book. But this chapter about Tom Rees right here, I think is the real downer to the entire thing. I understand why they needed to do it, but this really was a big downer. No offense. If anything, on an uplifting note, 5% of the proceeds from the sales of this book, retail-wise, went to the Me's Children Trust to support Tom's daughter's educations. Also, the Valerie Fund to help children with cancer, based right here in New Jersey at 1878 Springfield Avenue in Maplewood. This is also an audiobook from Simon & Schuster Audio. What important people have wasted valuable time and news and space saying about Keith and Dan. Michael Jordan, Gene Siskel, The Sporting News, SportsCenter achieving the perfect pitch in their humble opinion, Barry Sanders, USA Today, listing Keith Olbermann and Dan Patrick tied for the number 3 best studio host when it comes to sports programming. Really? Oh well, and Coach Jim Harbaugh. It used to be that the Big Show meant playing in the NFL, and it still does, but now it's taken on a whole new meaning. The Big Show is Dan and Keith on ESPN, and I need my fix twice a day. Author's note, at least 16 times a year Mr. Harbaugh is thrown bodily to the ground and often lands on his head. I doubt anybody will fail to get their fix of Keith and Dan by reading this book. Actually, I'm not going to rate it just yet. I'll wait till the end of the show to rate all 3 items. This is a Paul White-style knockout. Ahem, the Big Show. For anyone who needs to get their fix of sports from Keith and Dan, and anyone who enjoys ESPN and SportsCenter in general, for that matter. It is big. It is fire. It is, to put it in a Keith and Dan perspective, en grande fuego. Now on to the second corner. You know damn good and well that no Super Bowl party, big or small, is complete without some super snacks. So in that department, if you're looking to go for broke without going broke, let me reintroduce you to a most valuable player making that good call. Chef Gabby Moskowitz, founder of the BROKEASS Gourmet blog and author of the cookbook of the same name you see before you, with recipes to keep your taste buds happy and your wallet thick. And take it from me, nowadays, we all like 'em thick. Our wallets, anyway. I think you'll grow mighty fond of Gabby, not just for a fair amount of visual appeal, but also for her genuine and immense talents in the kitchen. A bit of history regarding the BROKEASS Gourmet. It was founded in 2009 in the wake of the recession, when many of her Bay Area startup entrepreneurial pals were actually going broke. I needed to figure out a way to splurge on basic needs, such as cooking. Thus the invention of the BROKEASS Gourmet blog, co-founded by Gabby Moskowitz and friend Adam Metz, who's in charge of supplying plenty of wines and spirits to help those folks and the everyday average Joe and Jane sip their sorrows away. That brilliant AF, brilliant and frugal concept permeates every page of this cookbook. And for more about it, we turn to the videotape and to Chef Moskowitz.
My name is Gabby Moskowitz, and I am the author of the BROKEASS Gourmet Cookbook. And today I want to tell you a little bit about who I am and what I do. Food was always a huge part of my life. When I figured out that I could combine three of my greatest loves, cooking, writing, and teaching, and make them a career, I knew that that was what I had to do. You don't need to have a lot of money or even a big kitchen space or a lot of kitchen tools to have really good food. I want to shorten the distance that people feel from the kitchen. What BROKEASS Gourmet seeks to do is make cooking fun, make it approachable, make it easy, but really make it great. I want everyone to know the joy of sitting down to something that's not only delicious and fresh and great, but comes with a pride of knowing that you made it. Even if I'm doing a traditional recipe, I like to give it a twist. So if you're gonna spend money on my cookbook, I want you to have something that's special and unique and different from what everyone else is gonna be bringing to the potluck. You can have great, fresh, home-cooked meals that don't take forever. 116 recipes, but more than that, stories, techniques, hilarious anecdotes. It will change your life. The BROKEASS Gourmet Cookbook hits bookstores May 8th, 2012.
This is an Amazon purchase. $5.99 for the item itself, plus 40 cents tax, for a total of $6.39. A price I think Gabby would be very proud of. One other thing. This is actually her second play on my channel. Her first play? Her claim to fame for television, the ABC Family freeform sitcom Young and Hungry. Her career was the founding basis for that show, as well as its paperback spin-off, Young and Hungry, Your Complete Guide to a Delicious Life. That paperback offspring, I should say. I will leave a link for that review below if you want to check that out. But for now, let's highlight some of the recipes in the Super Bowl party menu, which also doubles as a menu for a certain television show's watch party, one that I'm not quite fond of. I'll show you that when I show you the menus. First up, garlicky white bean dip, which serves 5. For every ingredient in every recipe, she lists the total cost, as well as the cost for each component, each ingredient. I would advise you to pay attention to the prices for the ingredients when you go to the supermarket, for these prices listed might have changed over time. As you know, inflation is the enemy of budget-conscious cooks all over the world, amateur and professional. So, make sure you check the supermarket prices and compare them to the prices listed in this cookbook before you make a decision. They should still be inexpensive, but not this inexpensive. And good job to her for listing some ingredients as pantry staples, stuff we should already have on hand. As far as the prep time goes, that varies. You see here, this is not a minute timer, this is an hour timer. First digit stands for the hour, and the other two digits, well, second digit, that's in the 10-minute column, and single digit column, well, that would be the last digit right there. Garlicky white bean dip. This easy dip is hummus's Italian first cousin. Perfect with fresh veggies and baguette slices or spread on a sandwich. This delectable spread can be thrown together in just 5 minutes for a mere $3, and the odds are good that you already have all the necessary ingredients on hand. On the other side, we have brown sugar sriracha hot wings. 45 minutes of prep time and 25 minutes of active cooking time. These lip-smackingly delicious wings are smothered in a sweet hot sauce, not for timid tons. To cool them down, I recommend rolling together half cup mayo, actually, third of a cup, equal amount of sour cream or yogurt, and some finely chopped garlic and cilantro. This recipe will make about 16 addictively good party wings. So, if you are expecting a big crowd, or have friends with big appetites, please no big crowd during this time of social distancing. You might consider doubling or tripling the recipe. This recipe should cost you about $8.50, or it might not cost you $8.50 to make. This is not a part of the Super Bowl party menu, but I want to include it as an honorary addition because, well, I haven't done anything about college football in, like, ever. So sorry if I missed the BCS National Championship. Oh wait, they don't call it the BCS Championship anymore. Anyway, these are college nachos, which will cost you about $12 to make. An active cooking time of 12 minutes with 20 minutes of prep time, and they should be worth it. Look at the ingredients here. $12 to get all of those? Yeah, right. But still inexpensive nonetheless. Only make these nachos if you like gooey melted cheese, fresh guacamole, and having your praises sung loudly. Now on to the pepperoni pizza spirals. I love stromboli, an Italian turnover stuffed with pizza ingredients, and wanted to make some for a cocktail party I was throwing. But hated the idea of my guests having to hover over plates to catch the cheesy, goopy fillings as they ate them. So I decided to roll and cut my stromboli like cinnamon rolls. The result? A perfectly neat, hand-holdable, delicious spiral of pizza. Yum! Which will cost you about $11 to make, as well as 35 minutes in total to prep and cook. This is not part of the Super Bowl menu, but I want to include this too. Crostini 3 ways, with 50 minutes of time necessary to invest, as well as $7.25 in cost. Crostini are the #1 way to convince guests that you are a detail-oriented gourmet chef, while actually being lazy and cheap. All you really need is bread, a spreadable cheese, though I would recommend against cheese whiz. Oh, come on, what do you have against cheese whiz? And a topping, so really you can customize this to your own taste, beyond those ingredients. One final recipe. Easy molasses pulled pork sandwich, which requires in total about an hour and 50 minutes worth of time, and $16.25 out of your wallet. Some ingredients here, pantry staples, others you might have to pick up fresh from your local market. She's a huge Trader Joe's fan, by the way, and I don't blame her. I once visited Trader Joe's to shoot an episode of TSR, and I think you might know what that is. It had one of the Pretty Little Liars in it, which was, is, and will forever be the king, or should I say queen, of ABC Family's original slate of esteemed programs. Now for the dessert recipe. When I said one final recipe, I meant one final savory recipe. Sorry if my grammar is not on it today as well as my memory. I guess it's the Super Bowl fatigue going on in my brain. This is the only dessert recipe I'm featuring here. Yes, using spring rolls, egg roll wrappers in a dessert? Can that be done? Well, in the case of this brown sugar banana spring rolls recipe, yes it can. And it will only cost you 20 minutes and $5. This is one of those desserts that impresses everyone, and for good reason. These spring rolls are sophisticated looking and bursting with flavor, so don't bother telling anyone that they were ridiculously easy to make and cost you almost nothing. Just bask in their praise and thank me later. Duly noted. She shares plenty of time-saving strategies as well as money-saving strategies towards the end of this book, for you to remain under a budget of $20 while making these recipes. That is the high limit for your budget. $20 or less. These are the menus. A romantic meal for two. Hey, Valentine's Day is coming up. You might want to take this under consideration. A weekend barbecue, which will also make for a nice Super Bowl spread. That would be depending on your climate. Super Bowl or Project Runway Sunday. Yes, this Super Bowl menu also doubles as a Project Runway viewing party menu. Gabby? Absolutely not. Many folks have a thing for Heidi Klum or Tim Gunn if they play for the other team, Tim Gunn. I do not. Comfort food night and una buena fiesta. Something really nice for Cinco de Mayo. By the way, I have you covered with that holiday coming up very soon, so stay tuned to hear for that. This, by the way, is the only other cookbook I have not yet reviewed until now which had a Super Bowl themed menu going for it. And, impressively, or annoyingly, the only Super Bowl menu to double as a Project Runway viewing party menu. Philly. The BROKEASS Gourmet is much more than just cheap, easy, and tasty recipes. It's also cheap and tasty wines and spirits, as listed here. White wine, red wine, the works. plus 5 non-BROKEASS splurges that are worth it. Pastured eggs, Muir Glen organic fire-roasted tomatoes, crushed, diced, and sauce, Kerrygold Irish butter, good cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil, and organic free-range chicken, grass-fed meats, and wild-caught fish. Prices vary. You have those on hand, and they will do you a world of good, regardless of their prices. Plus, fun and savings at your local farmer's market, including tips for how to make the experience less of a chore and way more fun, and of course, way more cost-effective. I trust many farmers markets should be open in the wintertime for seasonal food. Live the good life on the cheap. Gabby Moskowitz makes broke taste good. Roll out some of her simply and elegant sun-dried tomato ricotta gnocchi, inspired by a rude ex-boyfriend who made fun of her potato dumpling making skills. Tuck into a meltingly tender, easy molasses pulled pork sandwich, which I just showed you. Warm up on cold nights with rich, creamy, New York Times mentioned brown butter pumpkin mac and cheese. If that got a mention in the New York Times, then barring the weird use of the pumpkin, that should be pretty good. Impress that special someone with Gabby's famous third date chicken when you're ready to commit a course. Honorable mention, the red vine salad reduction. We get to know a little bit more about her love life. When unexpected company arrives, wow them with cornmeal, shrimp, po' boy sandwiches, or hipster dogs. No actual hipsters harmed in the making. Good. We wouldn't want you, Chef Gabby, to be imprisoned for cannibalism. Finally, be sure to sweeten your guests' departure with crazy good salted fudge brownies. Gabby makes it easy and fun. You'll soon feel like she's your quirky, food-obsessed best friend chopping onions alongside you in the kitchen. This retailed for $16.95. And it's a publication of Egg and Dot, a division of Dynamic Housewares. By the way, Gabby Moskowitz, regarding her love life, is quite a dynamic housewife to a men's fashion expert wannabe, teacher and author Evan Volkenstein. Also parents of 2 beautiful daughters. So all in all, the BROKEASS Gourmet works! If you're looking to save time and money while simultaneously fooling your friends and family into thinking that you got your cooking skills straight out of a restaurant chef, well, if you disregard inflation, I think Gabby Moskowitz has done a fine-ass job with this BROKEASS Gourmet extravaganza. Welcome to the halftime report. Before I go any further, if you're wondering where all that rattling came from, flag on the radiator. That's the culprit over there in the back. That radiator is our heater, and I can't control that. That's up to the hierarchy of this entire apartment, so I can't turn that off even if I want to, and trust me, I really wanted to. It's off now, thank goodness, but it's the only thing that's keeping us warm. Otherwise, we'd be freezing in here every single day for the next, unfortunately, 6 weeks. Thanks a lot, Punxsutawney Phil. And thanks a lot also, Winter Storm Orlena, or Orvena, or whatever the heck. I'm so pissed about that storm that I can't even remember what Governor Murphy called it. So that's why. That's why my grammar's been at a poor pace today, add to the fact that I have a minor speech impediment, and well, oh well. And my voice. One of you actually commented that I talk weird. And there goes the radiator again. Well, yeah, I might talk weird, but you don't see anybody else bringing Hollywood and the NFL home on a budget the way I do, so it's either me or nobody. With that said, I have an affinity, as you well know around this time of year, for keeping tabs on what's going on around the game, before and after as well. It is not just the last football game of the year, as you well know. It is a couch potatoes dream spectacle that runs nearly half a day. So, let me tell you what's going on. As you know, Kansas City Chiefs, last year's champions, are looking to make it 2 for 2 when they face off against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have the home field advantage. They're going to be the first team to play a Super Bowl in their home stadium, Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, which will also play host to this year's WrestleMania in the beginning of April. It is the Super Bowl of sports entertainment in WWE. And you bet your bottom dollar I'll have a video for that when the time comes. Stay tuned. Jim Nantz and Tony Romo will be covering the game for CBS. As far as the ceremonies go, for the pre-game ceremonies, America the Beautiful will be handled by Grammy-nominated singer Her, H-E-R. The national anthem will be handled by Eric Church and Jasmine Sullivan. As you know, The Weeknd will be headlining the Pepsi-sponsored halftime show. 25,000 fans. This is a limited in-person attendance event, making it the lowest attended Super Bowl ever, and you know why. 25,000 fans will be in the stands with 30,000 cutouts. Among the real 25,000 fans, 7,500 essential workers, primarily in the healthcare field, who were given free tickets by the NFL for their heroic service. Those 7,500 special fans, those special attendees, will be treated to a TikTok tailgate show headlined by, if you can believe this, Miley Cyrus. If I was one of the organizers, I would have made a better choice regarding who would headline that particular show, but hey, it's their decision. Additional pre-game pageantry will be Amanda Gorman, the first National Youth Poet Laureate, the one who wrote and recited the Hillary climb for President Biden's inauguration. She will recite an original poem to introduce 3 honorary captains for the coin toss. A teacher, a nurse, and a Marine veteran, Tremaine Davis, Susie Dorner, and James Martin, respectively. As far as the lead-out show goes, the most coveted time slot in all of primetime television, that honor is being bestowed upon the premiere of the new CBS Prime drama series, The Equalizer, starring Queen Latifah. Portions of it filmed right here in Patterson. How about that? And a sideline for just a moment here. Speaking of dramas at CBS being filmed in New Jersey, the Ways and Means political drama pilot has filmed in Morristown, and I think will continue to film in Morristown once it has stopped being sidelined by this winter storm. Patrick Dempsey was seen here last week filming in Morristown, and alongside him, although no photos have surfaced yet, Troyan Belisario, the love of my life, whom I've fallen head over heels for, as Spencer Hastings from PLL, although that's not all she's capable of doing. I can't tell you how much my heart aches knowing that not only distance is separating us, but also the climate, the snow. Curse you, Winter Storm Orlena. We'll see with this massive audience expected for the telecast of Super Bowl LV, Super Bowl 55, if the Equalizer can benefit greatly from the residual TV audience members who will be tuning into that. It has a good, strong backstory going for it because it's based off of a 90s, 80s crime drama show, as well as the recent film of the same name that was released back in the early 2010s. So, those are all the stats surrounding this year's big game and its pop culture pageantry. Before I go to the third quarter, which features the last item, this one here, let me show you the lineup for next Saturday night, our Valentine's Day episode. Love is a game, and I'm inclined to help you win. Check it out. We got the Newlywed Game and Family Feud After Hours. And Lizzie McGuire, what would Lizzie do? Also, what would you do? Because there are questions in which you would answer, what would you do, regarding your own experiences and how you relate to Lizzie. Many of them are actually love and relationship questions, which helps this game fit definitely into the canon of what I'm doing here. For the first time ever, I'm reviewing 3 board games at at once in one video, all to celebrate Valentine's Day. It will be game show themed, given that the newly released Game and Family Feud are dominating in that particular field. So, love is a game, and we're gonna help you win. Valentine's Day, next Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on TSR. So make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell. That wraps up this halftime report. Now, on to the third quarter, the NFL Showdown. Now we're on to the third quarter, and holy Lombardi, are we breaking new turf here. Never before have I reviewed an NFL board game, but with this historic Super Bowl looming, I figured now is the absolute time. This is NFL Showdown, pass, run, blitz, you call the plays. I would consider this half card game, half football simulation game, condensed into one board game right here. It is from Buffalo Games, by the way. Had the Bills not screwed up their championship game, this would have been more awesome to review. This board game for 2 players ages 8 and up was purchased for $5.99. It includes all 32 NFL teams, including 5, which are of special interest to me and hopefully to you. We have TTPM toy reviews standing by remotely with more on gameplay, so let's go to the videotape.
Touchdown! Hey, I'm Matt with TTPM, and today I'm playing NFL Showdown from Buffalo Games. NFL Showdown is for 2 players, ages 8 and up. The game includes the game board, 32 NFL team scoring footballs, 19 playbook cards, 64 big play cards, 4 dice, a football, a field goal, a flicker kicker, line of scrimmage and down markers, and a scoreboard. A general understanding of American football is helpful, and the instructions will guide you through your choice of rookie or pro mode. Players pick their teams and use the playbook and big play cards to strategize against their opponent. Roll the dice to see how many yards you gain or lose. And just like in real football, there are tackles, interceptions, safeties, 2-point conversions, extra points, and field goals. To kick, place the football on the flicker and show the fans what you've got. NFL Showdown is a fun game for football fans of all ages. I recommend starting with the rookie mode, but just like the best rookies, you'll soon be heading to the Pro Bowl.
Let me show you the 5 teams which are of special interest to me, if I can get this box open without marring the surface. Come on. Come on. By the way, this had packaging tape wrapped around it, which I hate, because usually when I take that packaging tape off, or packing tape, it tears some of the cover box art. But this was one of the rare miraculous instances where that didn't happen. Anyway, the 5 teams here, by the way, 64 big play cards, 2 per each team, are the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The 2 teams duking it out in this year's Super Bowl. Also, we have the New York Giants and Jets. Those are the local tri-state area teams here. And my stepfather's all-time favorite team since he was 11 years old, the Steelers. This is in tribute to my stepdad here. All 32 NFL scoring footballs are accounted for, as is almost everything else. And I say almost everything else because, well, I'll get to that in a moment. Here we have the game board here, which very accurately and very precisely resembles a football field, with NFL Showdown, that label, on each end zone. Plus not 1 but 2 field goal posts, 1 orange and big, and 1 yellow and small. This is the orange field goal zone. And here we have the yellow field goal zone right here. By the way, why do you have to make 1 bigger and 1 smaller? I don't get it. I guess it's because of some form of inadequacy for the losing team. I don't know. And I don't know where I can find that. Oh, here it is. Yep. This is the smaller yellow field goal post. Everything else is located inside the spots, including the little score right here, with how many corners, how many rounds per play, and how many points. You got more big play cards here to show you, plus these defense and offense cards, all of them double-sided. So again, this is really half card game and half football simulation game. You got your short passes for 5 to 15 yards, your off-tackle run stops, you have your fake run / pass for 15 yards, long pass steep, so on and so forth. You got big plays for the Ravens, the Titans, the Redskins, the Chargers, the Cowboys. By the way, the only other football-related video I've done this NFL season was the Dallas Cowboys Family Cookbook from 2009. I'll link that below. Again, Giants, Jets, and the Browns, Jaguars. All big play cards, by the way, double-sided, just out of necessity. These cards determine your plays, as well as the 2 dice in the box. Now, you've already seen the gameplay video from TTPM Toy Reviews, that's timetoplayMag.com. But what's missing in here is very crucial. The instructions. There is no instruction sheet, no gameplay pamphlet, and that is a big bummer. How else are you going to know the intricacies of playing this game and the specific rules you gotta follow when playing it? I mean, you can only summarize gameplay by reading the back of the box and play the game to a point where you start to get confused after a few minutes of gameplay. You need the gameplay and instruction pamphlet or sheet, and I don't have that in this particular copy. And what's worse is this. Hopefully you're seeing this. Scurrying around to find the NFL football, and guess what? It is not accounted for. There is no NFL football beside the scoring footballs to be found in this box. It is missing. And without that, well, this game is practically useless. And maybe you might have a small, I don't know, dice-sized football at home that you keep around for I don't know what. If that's the case, well then your life is really easy when it comes to playing this game. Other than that, well, this game is definitely a big time bummer for me. Oh, one last thing. This section here of this 4-sectioned game board here, it's about to come off. Look at this. It's loose here. It's not connected properly. Somebody must have played with this a great deal to the point where it's starting to come apart. Oh, and by the way, regarding this field goal post right here, the bigger orange one, yeah, good luck trying to get this box to close all the way, cause, well, you can't. This makes it impossible to do so. It really makes it a wrestling match to try and do so. And I say that because, well, Raymond J. Stadium, again, will be host of WrestleMania this year. It's a real flippin' shame when components for a board game are missing, which means you get robbed of the experience of enjoying this to its maximum potential of enjoyment. And that angers me. Forget it. NFL Showdown is for everyone. Play Rookie Mode or Pro Mode, based on your skill level. Head-to-head NFL action. One player is on offense and the other is on defense on every down. Pick one card from your playbook, offense or defense, and try to outsmart your opponent. Then flip the cards to reveal the outcome of the play. Pass, run, blitz, you call the plays. Make big plays, make a tackle, intercept the pass, call a QB keeper, quarterback keeper, or more, and more. Each team comes with special big play cards that highlight each team's strengths. These are the contents, and even this box does not list a gameplay and instruction pamphlet. It does have all 32 NFL teams accounted for, and the flicker kicker and field goal post is kind of fun, but again, without the NFL football, well, this officially licensed product of the National Football League, as so indicated with this holographic sticker. I'm so upset right now. I incorrectly positioned the bots to close this damn thing. Without the football, well, this thing is just practically useless. So certainly, a line has been crossed, and I'm not talking a line of scrimmage, I'm talking a line of sabotage. Whoever previously owned this game wanted to keep the most important component, the football, and therefore the gridiron glory and grandeur for themselves. Whoever that person is, I'm giving him or her and this copy of NFL Showdown a major penalty. It's the fourth quarter, baby! It's scoring time! It's time to find out where each of these items stand. A maximum total of 15 claps can be awarded, and I can tell you right now, none of these items are worthy of receiving all 5 claps. The reasons being, well, for Keith and Dan's big show, no full color photo inset, and no acknowledgement of the everyday audience of SportsCenter, not the dignitaries as listed in their Enough About Us What Do You Think chapter. Shame on you too. For the BROKEASS Gourmet Cookbook, no photographs whatsoever, barring the cover star here, Gabby Moskowitz. And while there are plenty of graphic illustrations to go around in there, I do not count graphic illustrations as photographs. There is an important distinguishable difference between graphic illustrations and photographs, and you should know that. And as far as this item goes, well, this is the worst offender. No football and no gameplay or instruction pamphlet. I think one of the ESPN anchors said it best. Come on, man! Both of these books on 4.5 out of 5 claps, while this son's 2.5, for a final total of 11.5 out of 15 claps. Barring this embarrassing fumble, I think this all in all is a relatively otherwise impressive offensive tackle which should certainly sway anyone on the defensive about having a Super Bowl party without taking a hard hit to the helmet, budget-wise. So, forgiving all their discrepancies, especially this, I wish you guys a fun and responsibly enjoyable day of watching and cheering on, no matter which team you side with, a really big show. Thank you as always for watching the Thrift Store Rundown, and be sure to tune in next Sunday night for my Valentine's Day Game Show Inspired Edition. Until then, I'll catch you at the end zone on the flip side.